Welcome back to my channel, Stardust Stories, where I aim to tell my stories in order to help someone overcome heartache and pain in their lives. By realizing that no matter what your circumstances, you have the power within you to overcome anything. Let me start this episode with this quote. In the long run, we shape our own lives and we shape ourselves. The process never ends until we die, and the choices we make are ultimately our own responsibility. By Eleanor Roosevelt. This quote made me stop and think back at my life, and I realized that I am where I am today because of the choices I made. We all are. Where we are in our lives is a direct result of some choice we made, good or bad. We made those choices at the time, and in that moment, you made a certain decision. You make the decision with what you have, where you are, with the knowledge or experience you have at the time. You make that decision, and then you live with the consequences of your decisions. If we had the luxury of hindsight, many of us will make very different decisions, but we don't. And therefore, at the end of the day, our choices are our responsibility. Following on from the last episode, from the time my son was born until the time that I realized that this relationship was heading in the wrong direction, a lot of incidents took place. And thinking back on it now, I should have known back then that this was going nowhere. But now, it was not only me alone that I had to take care of. I had a child that needed me. And all of a sudden, just walking away was not so easy anymore. When we were discharged from the hospital, we went back to the flat on the farm. And as I had a C-section with his birth, I was a bit out of action, and it was difficult for me to handle the new baby and the household. So my mom, with who I was trying to build a relationship at that stage, came to stay with us for a few days to help. But ultimately, it was on me to look after this newborn baby and his dad, who continued to work and enjoy his life as if he did not have a newborn baby or a wife at home. In those days, we did not have the luxury of disposable nappies, and I still used the cloth nappies, and I also didn't have a washing machine, which meant I had to wash the nappies and all of the laundry for that matter by hand in the bath. It wasn't easy, especially after a C-section. But I did what I had to do. I did it for my baby. As I had to take early maternity leave a month before he was born, and we only had 3 months maternity leave available in those days, I had to go back to work when he was only 2 months old. Not that I wanted to, but financially we just couldn't afford not to have my income as well. My mother-in-law came to stay with us to look after the baby, and she stayed with us for about 3 months after that. And that helped me a lot because she was the sweetest person and she did so much to help me. I couldn't afford to place him in a daycare facility, and she helped us out by looking after him while I was at work during the day. It was such a whirlwind of a time. On the one hand, I was ecstatic about my life, so proud to be a mom. I loved everything about being a mother. I loved my little baby boy to bits. But on the other hand, my relationship with my husband was getting worse and worse. He was drinking uncontrollably. His anger issues and rages against me was getting to a level where I just couldn't handle it anymore. He was in and out of jobs, just couldn't hold on to any job. And it was financially not an easy time for us, which in itself placed so much more stress into the relationship. Not that there was much of a relationship left. He couldn't bear the sight of me, as I gained so much weight during my pregnancy, and it was not easy losing that after my son's birth. He wanted me to look the way I looked before my pregnancy. It was so bad that when we did go out in public, he would rather walk across the street from me so that he was not seen walking beside me. I was so lonely and so unhappy, but being a young new mother, I had to hold on for as long as I could. And I think it was the survivor in me that eventually kicked in. There came a day that I just knew that I had to make a change, that in order for me to survive and to try and give my child a life, I had to get out of this relationship. And so I did. Thinking back over these things now, I still sometimes surprise myself. How did I actually do it? How did I survive some of the darkest and most difficult days of my life? I think I was just born with a natural ability to survive, to walk away from things that no longer serve my purpose. But at that time, I just reacted out of self-perseverance. There was one promise I made myself, that I would never abandon my child like my mother abandoned me, that I will never do to my children what my parents did to me, and therefore my will to survive and get out of that situation just made me so much more determined and stronger to do what I needed to do, remove myself and my child out of the life we were living. This removal, however good it was in certain ways for me, was also the start of a whole new chapter in my life. A chapter where many new life lessons would be learned. In the next episode, I will tell you about that journey and how everything that happened during that journey would influence me to be the person I am today. Until next time, never forget, you are strong, you are loved, and you are special.